Good evening. I'm Abigail and wish to welcome all on this tour of Restless Souls Cemetery, the legend of Halloween. Before we venture in, there's a bit of history I will share. Typically, Restless Souls is quite peaceful and quiet, but not tonight, for it is All Hallows Eve. You see, it is believed on this night only a veil is lifted between those that have passed and those still here. In other words, a passage is open for those that have passed to visit the living. This legend dates back 2,000 years, originating in Ireland as a Celtic spiritual tradition, Halloween. Here in this small village of Ashgrove, they take this belief quite seriously. They welcome the opportunity to connect once again with lost ones, loved ones. It is tradition, a celebration, and custom for everyone to dress in costume to avoid unwelcome encounters. This allows all to move about freely, unnoticed, to blend in with the unfriendly spirits. There can be a few of these uninvited guests that tag along with those that have been invited. They really are quite harmless, a minimal chance of doing any sort of damage. They tend to observe mostly. Even so, it is good to see that all of you are appropriately dressed. Together, let us join in the celebration of this special evening. We'll enter here at the gatehouse, which looks to be lit for our passage. Can you hear the music, laughter, and chatter? Our host for this evening is Grim Reaper, who is patiently waiting to greet us, shall we? Behind him, there looks to be some unsettled tombstones that belong to some unsettled souls. They may have unfinished business on earth. Rest assured they will eventually find their way. All of these many guests dressed in costume, everyone toasting one another in their unique way. I can feel the air filling with spirits, can you? Let's have a look over here where a skeleton dance is taking place. Oh, how festive it all is. Tradition continues, as you see, with scary stories being told. Let us listen for a moment.
It was a cold, dark October evening. They gathered around a campfire where they heard rustling in the woods. Suddenly, a figure appeared.
As we move on, we are now standing on Remembrance Row. This significant plot we are viewing is filled with very prominent souls. All buried here were well-known, highly respected, and admired. You may notice skeleton guards surrounding a tomb. This is where Bartholomew Hauntswell had been laid to rest. He was the mayor of this small village a very long time ago. Well known for developing and maintaining this village with the utmost respect and care for all that lived here. Let us now move on to the Not Forgotten Path. We have come to a much darker area of the cemetery where the troublesome gather, of whom I spoke of earlier. No worry of the dark figure. He guards the entrance to this part of Restless Souls, which is appropriately named for this area. Behind him is Gothic ruins where Jack-o'-the-Lantern lives. You can see him standing there. Well known to be a history buff, he knows everything that happens here. We are thankful he arranges such a special evening for all of us to enjoy. To your left is Haunted Grove, with magnificent ancient trees that are home to many of the ghosts you see. Lastly, we stand before the Rest in Pieces Mausoleum, a grand, majestic structure to behold. The man you see on the steps is the owner, Benjamin Grimm, who personally greets his guests. You may approach on your own should you wish a private tour of the mausoleum. This now completes our tour. It's been my pleasure to be your guide. Hope all have enjoyed it. Something important to add in closing. There is no need to be concerned if you should feel an unwelcome presence leaving with you. As mentioned earlier, they tend to observe mostly. Wishing you all a very happy Halloween.
Cemetery, chills roll up and down my spine. Got a feeling I'm not alone here, hearing footsteps from behind. The full moon lights my pathway through the gravestones in disarray. Is this the time the dead come out to play? Cemetery, the autumn leaves swirl around my feet. Are those eyes I see in the bushes? Is this some kind of trick or treat? The tree limbs move as though they're reaching out to try and pull me in. Take a breath, I can't let the demons in. Thoughts